Welcome, folks. Chumash and Rashi, Torah portion. Devarim. We are the fifth reading. Someone can get the front door. Thanks. Thank you. Let's get right into it. Vayomer Hashem Elai Lemor, and Hashem spoke to me, saying, Rav Lachem. This is about the Jews in the journey in the desert. Rav Lachem. Sahara Zepnu Lachovatafina. Yep. Enough of your going around the mountain. Hahara said, this mountain, Pnu Lachem. Enough time, turn around. So Faina go northward. Rashi in 3, Pnu Lachem. So Faina, turn yourselves northwards. Avu Lachem, turn yourselves Leruach Mizrachis along the eastern side. Mina Darim. Letzofa from the south to the going to the north. Nechem Letzofa, and you should face north. Nimsu. So therefore, they're found Holchim Eskola Ruach Mizrachis going along the eastern side. V'zeu Shenema, this is what it says. V'yavayam Mizrach Shemesh Eretz Moab, that they came from the east to the land of Moab.
Where did I hear that you stayed here long enough?
That was the Sunday night class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enough. Yeah, we spoke about it. Well, it was a term we already, yeah. And to the nation command saying, Atem ivrim b'gvul achechem. You are crossing, you're passing the border, the boundary of your brothers. Who's Abnei Esav, the children, the descendants of Esav. Hayoshim b'Seir, and they are dwelling in Seir. The Yirmi camp and Nishmatim Ma'od, and they will be afraid of you. Be very careful. Nishmatim Ma'od, Mahu Ashmira, Al Tizayr Bam. Don't provoke them. Right? This is Seir, this is Edom. Here. Midian is over here, Edom is over here, Moab is over here. Over here. This is like below in the near the Sea of Reeds. Okay. Rashi in 4. When Nishmatim, you shall take great care. Sorry, we did this already. Yeah. Be very careful and don't provoke them. They're kinsmen, so don't provoke them. Baltis Garabam, do not provoke them. I'm not giving you their land. Ad midrach kaf regel, not so much as a footstep. Are you getting of their land? Ki Yerusha le'Esav, because it is an inheritance to Esav. Nasati is Har Seir. I gave the inheritance of Mount Seir.
The blessing?
Huh?
So the first blessing?
That's the blessing that Esav got from Yitzchak, if you recall, right?
Yep.
Rashi in 5, Ad midrach kaf ragel. And this means afilu midrach kaf regel, even a sole of a foot. Kalaimar, that's to say, afilu drisa saregel, even the right of passage. I do not give you permission to pass through their land. Without their permission. That's a simple meaning. You need to ask permission, which they did ask permission. And they said no, if you recall, right? Midrash Agada, the Agada understanding of this is you shall not have Edom's land until the day of the foot that will go on Mount of Olives. Shenemar v'omdu raglov. If it says, "V'al Moshe bar Tzion lishpot his har Esav," we say that every day in davening in Oz Yashir. This is before Mashiach's coming. Then it'll be a different story. Yerushalayim, Esav, this is an inheritance to Esav. Avram, from Avram. God said, Asara Amamim Nasati Loi, I've given him 10 nations. Shiva Lachem, 7 are for you. And the 3 on the eastern side of the Jordan. They are Amma and Moav and Seir. One of them is for Esav. Seir is for Esav. And 2 of them are for the children of Lot. Lot was the nephew of Abraham, if you recall. Why does he get it? Because of the reward that he went with Abraham to Egypt. And he kept silent with regards to what Avraham said about his wife, that she's my sister. Therefore, God made him Lot as Avraham's son. So in other words, he becomes an inheritor, right, as a result. And he inherits Ammon and Moav, because he had a son. Moav. Those are his sons. So that's over here. So Adam can't start off with. Moav is over here. Ammon is over here. But specifically Esav you can't start off with. And Moav also. Yes. Verse number 6. Eichel tishberu mitam. Food you shall buy from them. The kesef with money. Ve'achaltem. And you shall eat. V'gam mayim tichru mitam. Also water you shall buy from them. The kesef with money. V'shesisem. And then you'll drink. Rashi tichru loshem nekach. The word tichru is a language, an expression of purchasing. Similar, we see, we had it in Genesis, that I have purchased for myself Sheken Kerati Hayam Keren Lemachira Kira. Also in the coastal cities, it said the word selling is used over there. Another example of that this word means to purchase. Verse number 7. Ki Hashem Elokecha berachacha, because Hashem, your God, has blessed you with the work of your hands. Yoda lechtecha. He knows the way of your walking, your path. Elam es midbar, in the desert. Hagodol, this great desert. Hazeh, this one. Zeh abarim shana, this 40 years. Hashem Elokecha imach. Hashem, your God, is with you. The 40 years in the desert. Lo chasarta dovar, you are lacking nothing. Rashi in number 7. Ki Hashem Elokecha beirachacha, for Hashem, your God has blessed you. Lefika, since He's blessed you, lo sichpu, as Tevos say, do not reject His goodness. Now, don't be an ingrate. God has done for you. Don't be an ingrate. Laharis ki'ilu atem aniyim, as if you are poor. El laharei atzmechem ashirim, but show yourself that you are wealthy. So buy, because you have money in abundance, and therefore you should buy in abundance from Esav as you cross through. Right? Navor me'esachenu. So we departed from our brothers, kinsmen. Bnei Esav, the children of Esav. Hayoshin b'Seir, who dwell in Seir. Miderech, by way of the path, Harava, of the plain, Me'elas, be'etzvain, from Elas and Etzvain.
It's sign.
Me'elas is Elat, seemingly.
Sign, something about sign.
Me'etzyain is not Zion. It's got the word, yeah, because it has an ayin in there. It's got the letters of Zion.
Yeah.
Gaver, Ametzvain Gaver, Benefein in turn, Benavar and pass, Derech Midbar Moab, by the way of the desert Moab, right? So I don't see any of these places here. Oh, here's Etzion Gever, bottom of Edim. Okay, we got it. I'm going from here all up towards Moab. Okay. Have a good day.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Nathan Benabar, so you would turn and pass. That's how someone often name Mizrachi, so turn to the north, turn and proceed on the eastern side. Okay, number 9. Yomer Hashem Eli, and Hashem said to me, Al Tatzer is Moab. Don't distress Moab. Al Tizgarbam, and don't provoke them.
Did you just see that?
That was for who? Edom. Now it's Moab we're talking about, right? But he added something here. Don't distress them and don't provoke them. Before it was just provoke, right?
Yeah.
So don't provoke them in war. Because I'm not giving you of their land. Yerusha is an inheritance because I've given it to the descendants of Lot, right? The nephew who was like a son to Abraham. As our Yerusha, I gave them as an inheritance. See words. Right. Okay. So who are we talking about over here? Talking about Moab, right? Let's go into 9. Remember, Moab started up with the Jewish people, all right? Balak, the king of Moab, he got Bilam to come to try to curse the Jews. Don't start provoke with them in a war. The only thing for them is going to war with them. But the Israelites would frighten the Moabites. They would display themselves as they were armed. Therefore, it's written, that's why Moab was frightened because of the people. For they were worried that they would loot and plunder them. But with the children of Ammon, it says, Al tizgar bam, don't provoke them. Making no mention of war. Shum givri means any provocation would be forbidden. Why? The reward for the modesty that the mother had, right? She did not publicize her father's sin. Remember, after Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed, Lot and his 2 daughters were the only remaining. His wife turned into a pillar of salt. And what happened? The daughter said, the world, there was a World War I, and everybody got destroyed, and there's only left us. So our father's going to have to give, in order that humanity should continue, he's going to have to impregnate them. So the older one was not modest about it, and the younger one was modest. And that reward of being modest, God says, don't start up at all any provocation, not even to bring fear upon them, let alone war. But for Moab, you can start to you can make them fearful. How did you? She was not modest. Why? Because she called her son Moav. In other words, Moav means mi'av, from my father. This child from my father. Ar Shem Medina is the name of a country. The Amim lefanim yashvu ba, and the Amim dwelt there beforehand. Am Gadol, they were a great a nation. Verav, and numerous. Veram, and great stature. Ka'anakim, they were actually tall and stature like the Anakim. Rashi in number 10. Amim dwelled there previously. You're under the impression Shezu Eretz Rephaim. This is land the Rephaim Shinatzati Avram that I did give to Abraham. The fish Amim, because the Amim Aim Rephaim. Amim are Rephaim. Yashvu Alifnim. They dwelt there previously. Avaloi Zuhi. But this is not the land of Rephaim. He Isam Rephaim, because those Rephaim, the Amim, what we're talking about over here, Harashi, I drove out Mipnei Bnei Eloi, because of the children of Lloyd. I shopped him tachtam, and I settled that the children of Lot are instead of them. No. No. Goliath is from the Plishtim, the Philistines. Rephaim, the Rephaim, Yechahashvu, are to be considered afhaim, they too, ka'anakim, like anakim, Moabim yikru lahem amim. And the Moabites, though, they called them Amim. Rashi in 11, Rephaim Yechashbu. So they are considered Rephaim. Rephaim hayu nechashim oisam Amim. Those Amim were considered Rephaim. Ka'anakim anikram Rephaim, like the giants that are called Rephaim. Al Shem She'ekol Raya Oisam, because whoever would see them, Yadam Israpais, their hands became weak. And Rafui means weak, because they were giants. Amim, they are called this name, Al Shem She'imasam Mutelas Al Abrius, because their dread is cast upon the people. Likewise, we see Beser Yesh Chayrim, and Ser the Chayrim dwelled, and Satam Livnei Esav, and I delivered them to the children of Esav. Okay, number 12. The Seir Yashvu Achayrim, and in the Chayrim, they dwelt in Seir, Lifnim, beforehand. Of Esav, Yirshom, and the children of Esav, the descendants of Esav, they displaced them, they drove them out and inherited the land. Yashmidei Mipneihem, and they exterminated them from before them. Yashvu Tachtam, and they dwelt in their stead. Kasher Asa Yisrael le'eretz Yerushas Asher Nasan Hashem lahem, just as the Israelites did to the land of their inheritance, which God gave them. Why is he saying like in present tense when it's only the future going to happen? Rashi, Yerashum, they will drive them away. Lashon Haven in present tense. Oh, Kalaimar, as if to say, Nasati Bahem Kayach, I imbued them with a strength, Shiyu Marishim Aisam, Bahilchim, and to gradually drive them out.
I looked at this morning a little bit.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, that's why it's in present tense. In other words, giving you the constant strength that you'll be able to drive them out when the time comes to drive them out, right? Ata, now, Kumu, get up. The Ivru, and cross, lachem, for yourselves, is Nachal Zered, the brook of Zered. The brook of Zered.
He's recounting, Moses.
What?
He's recounting. He's not.
Yeah, everything's recounting here.
I don't remember Maria's stuff.
Yeah, we we went through Zered. I'm trying to find it here. Okay, any case, right? So go Venaver as Nachal Zered, and you should cross to the Zered. V'hayamim. Oh, I saw Zered. Wait a second. Well, here's the Zered. I know I saw it somewhere. It's in the area of Moab, the Zered River. Goes into the Dead Sea, I think. Okay, in any case. 14. Vayamim, and the days, asher halachnu, that we went, Mikadish Barnea ad asher avarnu, is Nachal Zered, from Kadesh Barnea until we crossed the brook of Zered, Shloishim Ushmeina Shana. It was 38 years. Atim Kol Adar Anshe HaMilchama, as they ended, the entire generation of the men of battle, Mikerav HaMachna, from the midst of the encampment, Kasher Nishba Hashem Lahem, as Hashem had sworn to them. Here's Kadesh Barnea. It's way down here. And here's the Zered River further up. Megam Yad Hashem Haisabam. Also, the hand of Hashem was upon them. Lehumam, to destroy them. Mikerev Amachna Atumam, to destroy them from the midst of the camp until they were consumed. Haisabam was upon them. Lamahir, to quickly destroy Ulahaman. To destroy them within the 40-year period. In order that they should not cause for the children to be detained in any longer in the desert.
They didn't die of natural causes? Old age?
We're talking about the generation that died out in the desert, right? They died out from the sin of the spies. That's why they died, right?
But he says he destroyed them because they were consumed. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why that kind of language is. Because as long as they were alive, they would have to remain in the desert, because it was only the new generation that would go into the land. So it had to be during the 40 years that they passed away, right? The generation, the ones who went out of Egypt. And it was when they finished dying, all the men of battle, from the amongst the people, right? They all died out. And then Hashem spoke to me, saying, 17. And it was when the men of war finished, Hashem spoke to me about from the time of the sending of the spies, Adkan, until this point, Loy Nemar, doesn't say, in this passage, Vayidaber, that God spoke, but rather God, He said, to teach us, for the 38 years, that the Jewish people were scorned by God. God did not speak directly to Moshe in a direct manner. In a language of endearment, upon him face to face. The Yishuv Adas, with a mind at ease. To teach you. But the only reason why the holy people get the divine presence they should dwell upon them is to, prophets of Israel, in other words, is in order that they should be there for the Jewish people. And the Jewish people were now not in God's favor, so therefore God didn't speak to Moshe. Men of war, Esrim Shana V'Yitzim B'Tzava, 20 and up. 18. Ata Ever, you shall now pass Hayom V'Zgul Moav El Ar. the boundary of Moav at Ar. Right. Yeah, here's Moav, the boundary of Ar over here up there. So from here we see that Amain is further north than Moav. Oh, you mean, I mean, the picture tells us. Right. And you shall approach Mul b'nei Amain to opposite the children of Amain. Al titzuram, don't distress them. Al tizgarambam, and don't provoke them. Not just for war, because it doesn't say war. Don't provoke them at all, as opposed to Moab, right? You can provoke them but not for war. Others, they can see that they can sense they should be fearful of you. Because I will not give you from the land of the descendants of Amai for you. Yerusha, because for the children of Lot, descendants of Lot, I've given it as an inheritance. 20. Eretz Rephaim Techashev. It is to be considered the land of the Rephaim. Afhi, this too. Rephaim Yashvah, the Rephaim dwelt over the Lifnim from beforehand. That's before Amoin. The Amoinim Ikru Lahem Zamzumim. And the Amoinim are called the Zamzumim. Rashi in 20. Eretz Rephaim Techashed. It's to be considered, right? Eretz Rephaim Techashed Afi. It's to be considered the land of the Rephaim. Lefish Rephaim Yashuva Lifnim, because they dwelt there previously. But this is not the land of Avram that I gave to Avram. That's a different land. So you see, you can dwell in a place, but then afterwards it's taken away from you, right? A great and numerous tall people like the Anakim, Yashmideim Hashem, and Hashem destroyed them, Ibneihem, from before them, Yerusham, Yeshvutachtam, and they were driven out and they dwelt in their stead. In other words, in the stead of this is speaking about Ammon here, right? Who are called the Rephaim. Right? So they are dwelling, they took over the land. Kasher also livnei Esav, just as he did to the children of Esav, Hayeshim Seir that dwelt in Seir, that he destroyed the Chayrim Ipneim from before them, Yerusham, and Esav inherited them, Yeshvu Tachtam, Adiyamazeh, they dwelt in their stead even to this day. Avim and the Avim, Yeshvim Bechatzreihem, who dwelled in the gates, I guess the open cities, Ad Aza, until Aza, that's Gaza. Kafteirim Ayotim Mikaftar, Ishmidem Yashvu Tachtam. So Kaftar, who came forth from Kaftar, exterminated them and dwelt in their stead. Look at that. Gaza. So the Evim who dwelt there in open cities, Izim Miplishtim. Hey, the Evim rather, are from the Philistines. They're the Philistines, right? And the Philistines were in Gaza, right? Guess who's there now? Right? One second. For they're counted among them. The Sefer Yeshua in the book of Joshua, as it says, 5 princesses of the Philistines, Vazesis, Vashdaidi, Bashkalaini, Agiti, Vakraini, Ivim. Because of the oath Shenishbal Avram Avimelech that Avram swore to Avimelech. The Israel was not able to take their land away from them because he made an oath to Avimelech, Avraham, for 7 generations. So he brought Kafterim against them, and they destroyed the Evim and dwelt in their place. So now, Atem Tarim, you are permitted to take from their hands. In other words, as long as it was in their hands, but the Evim took over the Philistines, so therefore that gave permission, right? Because Philistines are descendants of Avimelech, so we could not take over from Avimelech, not from because of Avimelech, the Philistines, for 7 generations, but the Evim conquered them, so we could conquer the Evim. Gaza history. No. I mean, maybe the Greeks come from them. I don't think so. Kumu was this way before. Kumu, get up, Sue, and journey, Vibrus and Achal Arnon, and across the Arnon River. Re'eh, and see, behold, the Satabi Adcha is Sichai, that you're going to go past, right? Sichai. Right, Sichai, Melech Heshbon. So I'm going to give you this. You could conquer Sichai, who's the king of Heshbon. Here's Heshbon. It's right below Ammon, right? And Melech HaMeir, who's the king of Ammon. There's Artze Eichel Rashvi Zgaraboy Melchama, and you can take possession of it and provoke a war with them. Today I will begin to put the dread upon you, the Yerascha, and the fear of you, Alpnei Amim, upon the nations, Tachas Kol Hashemayim, under the entire heaven, Asher Yishmu v'Yishimach, that they will hear about you, reports about you, V'Rogzu, and they will have trepidation, V'Cholu Mipanecha, and they will Rogzu, they will shake, and Cholu, and they will have trepidation because of you. Tachas Hashemaim limet Cheshamda Chama LeMoshe b'Yom Melchamas Ha'eg b'Nei Da'ada v'Tachas Kol Hashemayim. So what does it mean under the heaven? That means that the nations under the whole heaven will fear the Israelites, right? Because the sun stood still while Moshe battled against Og, and that became known to the world, and therefore they had fear. 26, Vashalach Malachim, and I will send messengers, Midbar Kedmais, from the desert Kedmais, El Sicha Melech Heshbon, Divrei Shalom Lemor, to the king of Heshbon, Sichain, right, saying. So Rashi in 26. The Midbar Kedmais, from the wilderness of Kedmais, even though God did not command me to make overtures of peace to Sichaim, I learned from that which was given at Sinai, Torah, from the Torah, which preceded the creation of the world. When the God came to give the Torah to the Jewish people, he went around and presented it to Esav and to Ishmael. And it was known to God that they would not accept it. Nonetheless, he came to them with a gesture of peace. So I too will do that. I will go to Sichon b'divrei shalom with words of peace. Right? Because God didn't say, God said, you can start a war with them. But he started with peace. Why? Because that's what God did. God did the same thing, right? That he proceeded to all the nations of the world to give them an opportunity that they could have the Torah, at least the seven Noachide commandments. And even God knows that they're not going to accept it. Moshe also knew that Sichon's not going to accept it. Still, it came in a matter of peace. Davar Acher, alternative explanation. The Midbar Kedmas, from the wilderness of Kedmas, implies, I learned from you, that you preceded the world. You could send one lightning bolt, at least for his Mitzrayim, to burn up all of Egypt. But instead, you sent me from the wilderness to Para. Lamar to say, send out my people. Patiently. Wow. Okay. Quickly. So he asked, Moshe asked, right, that we should be able to pass through the land. I will go by the highway. I will neither turn right or left. I will eat by money that I will purchase, and then that will give me food to eat. And with water, with money also, titen li, give shasisin, and we will drink. Let us pass through by feet. Asher asu li b'nei Esav, just as the children of Esav, Hayeshim b'Seir, that dwell in Seir, Moabim Hayeshim ba'ar, and the Moabites who dwell in Ar, Ad Asher Ebra is Hayarden, in order that I should pass over the Jordan, El Aretz, into the land Asher Hashem Elokeinu Neisen Lanu, that Hashem our God is giving to us. Rashi. Kasher also li b'nei Esav, that loyli inyan lavor ba'artam elalina ma'achar ba'oichal b'mayim, not in reference to permission to pass over land, because that he refused, but rather in buying food and water. Ad asher evar, so Yarden Musa ba'al ebra ba'artzach. This refers to Moshe earlier requesting, allow me to pass through the land. Last possibility of Vaisicha melech Heshbon. But the Sichon, the king of Cheshbon, did not allow that we should pass. Because Hashem, your God, he hardened his spirit, made hard his spirit, and made hard his heart. Or they should give your hand as this day. In other words, that you should conquer him, because they did get conquered, if you recall.
As this day, present.
Okay. See you in a few moments.